and we've got a ball game. I'm going to be making some coffee, then I'll go through the lineups. It's Houston at St. Louis, doubleheader, game one of the doubleheader, first of a three-game series, August 26. In our 1969 replay, Durker for Houston, 13 wins. Briles for St. Louis, he has 8. Say that 5 times fast. Greetings, everybody. Jeffrey Guterman. It's Jeffrey Guterman, and we're doing Twitter Spaces. Not so. What's wrong with me? We're doing YouTube, and we have a ball game. It's a doubleheader. I'm gonna go through the lineups right now. It's a big one too, as far as I'm concerned. For the Houston Astros, leading off Jesus Alou in left. It's Joe Morgan at second base, Jimmy Wynn at center, Norm Miller in right, Kurt Blefary at first, Dennis Menke at short, Doug Rader at third base, Johnny Edwards the catcher, and the pitcher Larry Durker. He's a right-hander. For the Cardinals, it's Lou Brock in left, Flood in center, Pinson in right, Torrey at first, McCarver behind the plate, Mike Shannon at third, Javier at second base, Maxville at short, and the pitcher Nellie Briles. Durker comes in with 13 wins, Briles with 8, and in just a few minutes we expect the Cardinals to take the field here. And good afternoon, Kathy Harden. You have good ears. You have good ears. Ladies and gentlemen, Houston comes into this 5 games over 500, 10 games behind the first place Braves and Giants. And they're having the best season they've ever had. The Cardinals are 8 games over 500. They've won 4 in a row. They were struggling early on this season. They are now within 7 1/2 games of the first place Pittsburgh Pirates. So they're in second place. If the Cardinals sweep, they will cut this to a 6.5 game lead. If Houston sweeps, they cut their lead to 9. If they split, well, no ground is made or lost for either team. And Rick has arrived. Hope you're all good. I'm dealing with my own struggles as usual. I'm going to get some coffee as the Cardinals take the field. Too bad Ron isn't here. With Jesus Salou leading it off. Got a nice thick pad here. Isn't that nice? Let's get some coffee in here. I did not make up the second game yet because I wasn't sure I'd play it and I was running a little late. So we'll deal with it no matter what. We'll deal with anything that comes our way. Oh, that's good coffee. Oh, God, that's good. And here's Jesus now leading it off. Bryles the right-hander. Here's the windup and the pitch to Jesus. That's going to be 1-4. And he flies it to right field. Under it is Pinson. And there's one away, and we are underway here in St. Louis. Now Joe Morgan. Oh, that's good coffee. Oh, Lord. Here's Bryles. That's 1-8. And he struck him out. Morgan is retired on a strikeout. 2 away for Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon. Kathy Harden for the Astros. Interesting. I'll be very cognizant of wanting to be fair to both teams. Here's the pitch now from Bryles to Wynn. That's 3-5 right-handed. It's hit deep by Jimmy. Deep to left. Back goes Brock. It's gone. That's why they call him the toy cannon. Jimmy Wynn has uncorked for a home run here with 2 outs in the first. And all of a sudden, it's a 1-0 ball game. Let's look at that again. It was a 3-5 against the right-hander Bryles, clean. He had 33 in real world. For Jimmy Wynn. Wow. Oh no, that's something else. For a Win, that's number 25. He's right about where he should be, maybe a little under. Home run number 25. So it's 1-0. Here's Norm Miller now. Okay, Bryles gets the sign. Here's the pitch to Miller. That's 1-6, and he grounds it to first, picked up by Torrey. And the side is retired. So 1 run on the home run by Jimmy Wynn, and after a half, it's Houston 1, St. Louis coming to bat. Here's Larry Dierker. Okay, Brock leads it off. Dierker on the mound. Here's the pitch to Brock. That's 3-10, and he taps it back to Dierker, and he throws it over to Bleffery, 1 away. Now Curt Flood comes up. That's 3-4. And that's hit well by Flood into center. It's a double to the wall. So Flood on second with a double. Scoring, the tying run on second for Vada Pinson. Here's Dierker now. 2-11. And it's a base hit to left field by Vada. That might score Flood. He's rounding third. Jesus is 0. Flood 1-16. They let him score. And that's going to tie it up, Kathy. Pinson goes, stays on first, I'm sorry. Cutting it off. So it is a 1-1 ball game with Pinson on first and Joe Torre the batter. That's 1-10, and he pops it up to second for Morgan, 2 outs. And now the catcher, Tim McCarver. Pinson on first, knocking home Flood. Okay, here's Dierker. It's a busy start indeed. The pitch to McCarver now. That's 4-10, left-handed. He flies it to right for Miller. Norm Miller under it makes the catch, and that will retire the side. It was a busy start here in the first. The Cardinals 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. After 1, it's St. Louis 1 and Houston 1. Yeah, I got the 1-0 there. And the Cards won it. They only had 2 hits, a solo blast, only. Interesting. Very interesting. Thanks for that, Rick. Boughton did come in. I added that. Okay, Nellie Bryles takes the mound. Here's Blefary. He's ready now. The pitch from Briles. That is 3-7 right-handed, struck him out. That's the second for Nelson. Now Dennis Menke. The wind-up by Nelly and the pitch. That's going to be 6-10, right-handed, and it's a fly ball to center X. Our first X play. That'll be Flood, a 1-4. Wow, is he good. (10-1), it's an F2. He's a 4. That's a 9-12. Looks, ooh, he is good. That's going to be a clean F2. And it's going to be a fly out to Flood for the second out of this inning. And it's Doug Rader. Here's Briles, the wind-up and the pitch. That's 1-4, and he grounds it to third for Shannon. And the side is retired. 1-2-3 for Briles. Middle of the second, still 1-1. Here's Durker now. Oh, that's good coffee. Oh. Okay, Durker allowed a run in the first. Here's the pitch to Shannon. That's 2-7 right-handed. Grounds it to short for Menke. Over to Miller, to Blefary, 1 out. Here's Julian Javier. It's tonight's the first game of the World Series, if I'm not mistaken. This is exactly who I wanted in. After, things were moving on. And I'm for, I don't know who I'm for, really. Maybe Texas, but that's 5-4. Right-handed, grounds it to third X. For Raider, 327. (327) 18 3G1, 27 at third. That's going to be a 2-4-7. Looks like it's going to be a clean G1. It's a grounder to Raider, and he throws him out. 2 down. Here's Dal Maxwell. These are getting nice, and they almost become like parchments the more you use them. The paper is a decent quality. It just it wears. 2 outs, nobody on. Here's Dal Maxwell. And the pitch to Maxwell. That's 3-5. Grounds it to shortstop for Menke. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Durker. Watch out if he gets tough. Gets in a groove. After 2, it's 1-1. I'm gonna try this only because I feel like it, okay? I know. I know I'm playing with fire. Okay, we move to the top of the third. I got some very, very good coffee. And Johnny Edwards will lead it off. Let me refresh that good coffee here. That guy's 2 heartbeats away from the presidency, Kathy. Oh, excuse me. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, yeah, it is scary. I would never let those two be in the same room, Joe and Kamala. Never. Not even for the... Not even for the... any sort of joint session or any event, anything. Too dangerous. Can you hear Hakeem Jeffries? Folks, this is CNN. It's public domain. In the House chamber. And we're going to hear a speech from this new guy, Mike Johnson. He'll be playing in the background. It's almost like, Kathy, it's almost like, I don't know if you saw Rocky Horror Picture Show when Janet and Brad was his name? Or the boyfriend were driving in the rain. Nixon's resignation speech was playing in the background. You probably, if you know that movie, you remember that. I would count on you. I might have mentioned that to you already.
States House of Representatives. To a family man, a hardworking man, a Baptist man, a Southern man, a son of a firefighter's household, the gentleman from the great state of Louisiana, and the 56th Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, the Honorable Mike Johnson.
This is my speaker? Because that's my house. Right?
Thank you all. First, any words of gratitude. I want to thank Leader Jeffries. I do look forward to working with you on behalf of the American people. I know we see things from very different points
Here's Nellie Bryles now facing Edwards.
We don't care about this country and you want to do what's right. And so we're going to find common ground.
The windup and the pitch. That's 6-5. Left-handed, flies it to right for Pinson, one away.
I want to express my great thanks to our speaker emeritus, Kevin McCarthy.
And that brings up Larry Durker. Provides sort of an eerie ambiance, doesn't it, Kathy?
Kevin has dedicated
Here's the windup by Bryles and the pitch to Durker, 3-9, and he grounds it to first, scooped up by Torrey. He'll take it to the bag, 2 outs.
contributed more to it.
There's really nothing to this. I don't want to play it. It's 2 away. And we go back to the top of the order. I turned it off, Kathy. Jesus Alou. And C-SPAN asks for a credit, so there it is. I'm giving a verbal credit. That was C-SPAN. Brought to you by the public domain for educational purposes. 6-11 right-handed. It's a base hit by Jesus with 2 outs. And here's Morgan now. He struck out in the first. Yeah, no need. I tell you what I do like, Kathy. I like bipartisanship, and if this is the reality, they've got to avoid a shutdown. They've got to fund both wars, and that's the minimum. Okay. Other than that, that's just my view, folks. Here's Morgan. And actually, I'm more concerned about Ukraine because the other one could, if Israel is not funded, that could be a world war, and then we have nothing to worry about. Here's the pitch to Morgan. 1-6, right-handed. He flies it to right, sky high. Wow, that's a high ball. Pinson under it. He's going to be waiting a while for that ball to get down. There it is. He makes the catch and the side is retired. No runs. The single by Jesus left on base. Middle of the third, it's still a 1-1 ball game. Here's Durker now. Nellie Bryles will lead it off. Big doubleheader for both clubs here on August 26. I've seen a lot of speakers in my day, including one who I, at the time when he was speaker, I did not know was a child molester. Is he really, Kathy? That has to be funded. I think he'll work with that. If he wants Israel funded. Okay, here's Bryles. Right-handed hitter, his first plate appearance today. And that's 4-8, right-handed. And that is a base hit by Nellie off of Durker's card. So Nellie is on first, the go-ahead run. Here's Lou Brock. B. Bunter will let him head away. I know he's against, they're not even progressive social issues. He's against same-sex marriage, which is now law per the Supreme Court. He's against all, he wants to criminalize abortion. I wonder how many abortions he paid for. Here's the pitch to Brock. That's going to be 2-8. Right-handed struck him out. Oh, Durker is looking really tough here today. Bryles on first, one down. Here's Kurt Flood now. Flood doubled, scored on Pinson's base hit in the first. That is 2-6. And it's a fly ball to left field for Jesus under it, 2 away. And Veda Pinson, the batter. Where the hell? Two outs now. Bryles with a short lead off first. And here's the pitch to Veda. That's 4-5 left-handed. That's hit well by Veda. Whoa, it's deep. Oh, and it's gone. Veda just hit one off Durker. And that's going to put St. Louis ahead 3-1. Sorry, Kathy. Veda Pinson with a 2-run home run, his second and third runs batted in the ball game. Let's look at it again. 4-5 left-handed. Home run 1-3. It's a 1, and he's got the end power against right-handers. Oh my. Veda hitting with a single and now a home run. He had 10 in real world. That's number 6 for Veda today. In his this season, in our replay. Number 6. It's 3-1. Here's Torrey now. Okay, Durker gets the sign from Edwards. The windup and the pitch to Torrey. That's 6-8 right-handed, and he grounds it to third for Raider. Over to Bleffery, and the side is retired, but not before with 2 outs. And Bryles on first. Pinson hit the home run. And that's going to make it a 3-1 ball game after 3. We move to the top of the 4th. Here's the toy cannon, Jimmy Wynn. He hit 1 out, his 25th of the year. Hit it out in the 1st with 2 outs. And nobody on. Okay, Bryles. The wind-up and the payoff pitch. 1-8, and he walked them. So Wynn is on. He's an A. McCarver a +2. He'll be a 1-15. I'll send him, Kathy. 1-15. I'm going to send Wynn. Being held off McCarver. Okay, Norm Miller steps up. Here's the windup. And the pitch. Whoa, it's safe. Wynn is safe. He's at second. There's no issue there. I think it's a 1-2-3. Of course, I would look at it if it were a lower number. Wynn steals second with Miller now at the plate. Miller the tying run. See, I try for both teams, Kathy. Of course, if he was thrown out, you say, Jeff, you're not trying. You wouldn't say that. The pitch to Miller. That's 5-8 left-handed, and that's a chopper to second. They avoid the force. Javier goes to first, and Wynn holds. 1 out. And here's Kurt Bleffery. Oh, that's good coffee. And we're so glad to have you here today, folks, on the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Network. I'm here with Kathy. Rick is here, I believe. He's still here, maybe. And we'd love to hear from you in the live chat. Here's the pitch to Bleffery. That's 4-7 left-handed. And that is a base hit by Kurt Bleffery. Wynn goes to third. He'll hold. It was a chip shot right over first base. Pinson threw it in quickly. Wynn was holding all the way. Great to see you, Rick. It's first and third, one out. Infield is back for the double. Here's Mankey. Okay, Bryles now. From the stretch. 3-6. And he pops it up to short. Maxville makes the catch, 2 away for Doug Rader. Clutch situation for Doug. .47 right-handed struck him out. So Bryles gets out of it. His third strikeout, no runs, 1 hit, a walk, a stolen base, and 2 left on. Middle of the fourth, still 3-1. St. Louis. McCarver to lead it off. Here's Durker. 5-11. Left-handed, hits it to second for Morgan. 1 down. Now Mike Shannon. Oh, okay, popcorn. I got to tell you, I've had entirely too much popcorn for the past week. Really, it's not good for me to have that much. .37 to Shannon, and that is a fly to center. And under it is Wynn, 2 outs. And here's Julian. .310 right-handed, lines it to first, caught by Bleffery. And it's a 1-2-3 for Durker. So we've gone 4. It's still 3-1, St. Louis. Here's Bryles. Durker's endurance is 9, Bryles 6. Johnny Edwards 0 for 1 steps in. Top of the 5th, Houston down by 2. We're getting closer to the pennant race. I should call it the I don't know what they call it, but the September. You know what I'm talking about. That's going to be very exciting. 2-7 right-handed, a liner to first, and it's caught by Torrey, 1 out. Here's Durker. 2 NR. Grounded to first in the third. .53. It's going to be a hit back to Bryles at the box. He's a .419. Excuse me. It's a G3 with a 4, 19. That's 4-8-11. It's going to be a ground out for a 2 away. And Jesus Alou comes up. Jesus 1 for 2. Lots of action here, folks. We have a doubleheader. If I'm up to it, I'll play game 2. I can see myself at least starting it. Oh my God! NASDAQ down 317. I'm losing millions. Oh, help me, God. Oh, Lord, what happened? Oh, my Lord, help me, God. Do you remember Gecko in Wall Street? And then Buddy came back and said, you once told me never get emotional about trading. It's down X, and the market is closing in 5 minutes. Dump it. I enjoyed the film. Boy, the tech sector is really hurting. Let me see how much I've lost today, at least on paper. God almighty. What a miserable frickin' thing. 317 on the NASDAQ. Oh my Lord, I've lost a lot of money. Okay, here's Jesus now. 2 outs, nobody on. This bastard is still talking. That's 2-2, right-handed. It's a base hit by Jesus, his second of the day. Jesus is on, and here's Morgan 0 for 2. That is 5-10 left-handed. He flies it to right field, should end the inning. Pinson under it, he makes the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit by Jesus. We were in the middle of the 5th. We'll take a brief break. It's St. Louis 3, Houston 1, first of a doubleheader. My name's Jeffrey Guterman. This is the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Network. And I'll be back in just a couple minutes. You know, I'm almost old enough to be this bastard's father. Not quite, but, you know, I think I'm 14 years older than him, this bastard. This guy's still talking. God almighty. Oh, thank you, Charles. If you're a friend of Road Scholar, you're a friend of mine, Charles. Welcome. Oh. Let me get a little more coffee. This will probably be my last cup. Last cup, Kathy. And what I have left, I'll use for iced coffee, for a pick-me-up later tonight. Road Skull is a great guy, Charles. I can understand how you're friends with him. He's good people. We're moving to the bottom of the fifth. It's a 3-1 ball game. Bryles allowed a run in the first when Flood doubled. Pinson singled him home. And then with Bryles on first after a single to lead off the third and 2 outs, Pinson hit a home run. And that's where we stand 3-1. Wynn hit a home run for Houston in the first. Here's Dow Maxfield. Bryles comes out on deck. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And he, Charles, I just started about a month ago. I started doing super advanced fielding. And he was such a good teacher. He was so helpful to. Are you from New York? Because I'm looking at your channel and you got Citi Field there. You a Met fan? Such a good teacher. Oh yeah, he's great. And my plan is to gradually weave in all the advanced features. I augmented my stealing with the T ratings, but I'm going to be augmenting that eventually. Oh, you're right in Flushing. You know, I used to be a vendor from 1972 to 74 at Shea. I used to take a bus from Manhasset on Northern Boulevard to take me right into Flushing, nonstop. And then we'd walk over the bridge. Used to love it. Hot dog. Okay. Here's Nellie Bryles. I'm so sorry. Durker to face Maxville here in the bottom of the fifth. It's Cardinals by 2. Yeah, that bridge, yeah. And you could see Shea. It wasn't that long a walk. I think it was, about half a mile? Something like that. Maybe 3/4. Here's the pitch to Maxville. That's 6-7 right-handed, and he grounds it to short. Scooped by Mankey, and that's 1 away. Here's Bryles. Durker winds. That's 2-6. He struck him out. It's the second for Durker. Two outs, nobody on. Brock comes up. He's 0 for 2. Tap back to Durker and struck out. Here's the windup and the pitch to Brock. 4-2, left-handed, chopped to second. Picked up by Morgan. And the side is retired. 1-2-3 for Durker. We've gone 5 here in St. Louis. This is the first of a double and the first of a 3-gamer. It's St. Louis 3, Houston 1. We move to the top of the 6th. Just enjoying the last bits of the coffee. I hope you don't mind, Charles. I like weed. I like, it's medical weed. And I'm due for my first dose at about 3 p.m. I hope you're okay with that. Coming from New York, you should be okay with that. Okay, here's Jimmy. When were you born and raised? Oh, they are. Yeah, okay. Born and raised. I'm from, I was born in Jamaica Hospital, and I lived in Great Neck, Plainview, Bayside, and then finally Roslyn at age 7 to 18. Came down to, went to Boston for undergrad, stayed for 2.5 more years, and then by 1983 I came down to Florida. I've been here ever since. That was the same day that I think it was Righetti threw a no-hitter. July 3, 1983. Here's Bryles now, starting his 6th inning. This is his first endurance. Okay. The pitch to Wynn, 1-7, and he struck him out. Oh, Wynn was going for the fences again. And that's the 4th by Bryles. How now? Here's Norm Miller. Oh, by the way, Charles, I don't know if you ever do like broadcast simultaneously, but there's a special link where I could have someone come on, and you're invited to play a game with me sometime if you want. Yeah, what I would do is I would set it up beforehand, and then just put the link in the toy cannon misfires. Yeah, I would set up the link, and you're obviously I think around my age, but I'm 65. I don't know about you, but yeah, I don't know if you've ever done that. I would like to do that. I've invited everybody. One guy, I don't know if you know, Mr. It's Mike, what's his last name, Kathy? Mike Taravano or Mike something. I think he owns a food business. Oh, you're 59, okay. That's old enough. Mike something. Terra Nova, there we go. His middle name is Terra, his last name is Nova. He said he's gonna do it with me, but he's been busy with work. Here's Bryles, the pitch to Miller. That's 3-6, I'd even do an interview with you. He struck him out. Again, that's 2 in a row. Bryles getting tough here. And Kurt Blefary, the batter. Kurt 1 for 2. Yeah, Rick. That's exactly right. I remember it. I flew in to Fort Lauderdale. I was 25 years old. The pitch to Blefary, 3-11 right-handed. It's a base hit. 2-out single, though. And Dennis Menke is the batter. Here's a chance for Menke. Okay, Bryles. And it's 4-7 right-handed, and he struck him out. He strikes out the side. His fourth, his fifth, and his sixth strikeouts today, Bryles. He allowed one hit, one left, no runs, and it's medication time as Durker will come out to pitch. I remember that. Boy, has life changed since then. God, I've lived so many lives since then. You know what I mean? I've done so many things, most of them mistakes. You know, it's and that's just the way it goes. We're gonna take a little break here, just for a. I usually don't take breaks so back to back, Charles, but it's medication time. Oh, maybe they'll be. Yeah. Oh, that was good. Oh, Kathy, that was good. Oh. For about 2 seconds, I was so out of it from taking that hit that I felt like I forgot that I was doing this. It's like you couldn't think about that. You know, it's like your consciousness. I use a Chillum, Charles. What do you use? What do you use, sir? I think I'm gonna like this guy, Charles, Kathy. Use a joint. Yeah, well, it's recreational over there, isn't it? Oh, but I heard they're having problem with the licensing. The shit I have is way too strong for me to use a joint. Oh, that. Oh, excuse me. God, is that refreshing. Okay, here's Durker now. 3-1 cards. I love to reconnect to the game after I take a hit, Charles. You know, it's like, what a reality. Wow. And I'm just digging this replay. Just to get you up to snuff, Charles, in case you're wondering, St. Louis, the returning National League champions from '68. Oh, medical. So they have both legal, medical weed and recreational, I believe. I think I heard something like that. St. Louis started a bit slowly this season, this spring, but through the summer they have consistently made their way back there now. 8 games over 500 in second place, 7.5 behind. A sweep today could mean they're 6.5 behind. The Cubs are 9 behind. And Houston, having their best season ever in franchise history, 5 games over 500, 10 behind. They can be within 9. Okay, yeah, it's good to have both. Well, here's Curt Flood. He doubled and scored in the first, then flew to left. Durker now, remember his endurance is 9, the wind-up and the pitch. That's 4-6, right-handed, and that's a fly to center. Running for it is the toy cannon, and he catches up with it. He's got speed out there. You know, I love New York. I just can't afford to live there. You know what I'm saying, Charles? And when I go there, I have such nostalgia flying into the airport taking whatever I'm taking, an Uber or whatever it is, taking it in on the expressway. Always, even as a kid, even when I lived on Long Island, you know, Roslyn, I assume, I'd always get a feeling in my, butterflies when I would see, not butterflies, but pretty close, when I would see the skyline, and just loved Manhattan, just loved it, love it, you know. They're so. Oh, it is insanely expensive. Okay, Pinson steps in. Pinson 2 for 2. Singled home flood, then hit the 2-run home run, and he's knocked in all the 3. Here's the pitch from Durker. Pitch him very carefully, Larry. That's going to be 5-7 right-handed. Struck him out. Number 3 for Lawrence. He's on Twitter, people. That's a very, very small following. There are a few people who are on Twitter. Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Charles. Isn't that true of everything? You know, you could say that. You could say that about a Whopper. I mean, I remember when I went to a Burger King for the first time in about 1970. I ordered a Whopper. The ingredients were so fresh. The onions were onion rings, crisp. The lettuce was fresh. The tomatoes, even though I don't eat them, were plump and juicy and not overripe. They were perfectly ripened. The burger, I mean, God knows what's in a Whopper today. It really is. Now, did you see the movie Falling Down? Yes or no, sir? I'm getting a little ahead of myself. 2 outs, nobody on, Joe Torre now. And I do this sometimes. Sometimes I go through the game, but, you know, if I get caught up in a convo, that's what this is really about. In the biggest of pictures, you don't play Strat-O-Matic to get an outcome. Just like you don't go fishing to get a fish. You saw it. Do you remember, I mean, when he went in to get a what's it called, a whammy burger? Do you remember that? First he wanted the breakfast, but then he settled for the whammy burger. And do you remember that? That was a really good movie. People, you know, that is, people I want to tell you all. And it was light enough for it to be terribly entertaining. They were, I don't know if you remember when he went into the Army Navy store, and a neo-Nazi, a bald-headed neo-Nazi owned the store, and he took this guy back, and he showed him a can, an empty can of whatever gas that is. And he said, "This has been used." You hear that? It was like a little, "This has been used." I love that movie. Can't we all relate to that guy? And Douglas was amazing in it. I don't care what people say. He's one of the best actors ever. I think Bobby De Niro really is in a class by himself. I'm not happy that he did those comedy films, but he was even good in those, which is hard. They say it's harder to do. A very wise man once said, "Dying is easy. Comedy is hard." I think it was Edmund Burke, Burke. I think you can all remember that. Here's Torrey now. I'm a little strange, Charles. I'm a little bit tightly strung. The pitch to Torrey, but I'm harmless. 3-6, and it's a chopper to second. Morgan has it. And it's a 1-2-3 for Durker. So Durker has retired 10 in a row. And this is what Larry Dierker does, not necessarily let up the 3 runs in the first place, but he's kept Houston in this ball game, Kathy Harden. Oh, that was a great movie. Shit. You remember when he met the gang guys at the Rocks formation, and he said, "It says all that shit here?" He says, "What does this mean?" He says, "It means get the fuck out of here. This is our place. Blah, 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 blah." He said, "It means all that shit, huh?" It's pretty funny stuff. And then that scene where he just blows them all away in the street. My God. What a movie. So I'm the bad guy. This is at the end. And you want to know something? Tuesday Weld really was awesome in that. And so was, who was married to her, what was his name, Kathy? The cop. Yeah. Anyway, we moved to the top of the 7th. We're moving right along. And, hey, Mike Terranova, we were talking about you, Mike. Do you know Charles, Mike? Do you know Charles? I just met Charles today. Great guy. Charles Caraccioli? I'm sorry, Charles Caracciolo. Did I do that right? Mr. Caracciolo. I'm pretty good about that. I'm Guterman. You know, there was a story of a guy who was lucky enough to meet, he was in the armed forces, this guy, and this guy worked, he was stationed, I guess in Key West, where they still have a base. It's a good idea to have a base there. And Mike, again, anytime you want to come on and play a game, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm up for it today. I'm already ripped, but you let me know, sir, any date and time. If you're busy, I understand you've been busy from work, last I heard. Here's Nellie Bryles to face the cake shitter, the guy who shits on cakes. You know, Raider, there was a mention of that in Boughton's book. And by the way, Boughton is available today. But maybe not. Where the hell is he? Well, we'll have to look for him. God. Where the hell is he? God. This guy can talk. Lord Christ. Kathy Harden. This guy can talk to you. Mr. Terranova, great to see you. How's work going? Well, you guys type slow. You know that? Lord, unless it's the delay. Just kidding, guys. Okay, Rader steps in. You know, Rader acknowledged in an interview, he did not deny that he did it. He says, well, one of my biggest regrets is that the only thing people really remember about me is that incident, referring to when Boughton wrote in ball 4 that he shit on a cake in the clubhouse. At least it was inside. That's a very, very bizarre thing to do. It's either very impulsive, poor judgment, or psychosis. Okay? It's possible that it's not psychosis, and it's these two. Okay, I'd like to shit on a cake too, but I'm not going to do it, especially in front of people. If I get the urge, I'll set it up at home. Okay, I'll buy a Carvel and just frickin' set it up. I don't know why he'd want to do that. Here's Bryles now. We're going to do a little baseball for one full inning here in the 7th. It's a 3-1 ball game, Kathy. And it's very bizarre right now for me. Okay, here's Bryles, the windup, and the pitch to Rader. That's going to be 2-5 right-handed. Struck him out. That's 4 in a row of his retirements. and that's a Guterman term in baseball. His last 4 retirements have been strikeouts. Nelly's really getting tough here. Okay. Great velocity today. He's being able to have get movement on the ball. Here's Johnny Edwards now. And look at that, Kathy. Durker is coming out on the on-deck circle. Okay, Bryles. The pitch to Edwards. Oh, is that all right? It's your favorite book, Rick? Oh, that's wild. Yeah. Isn't that cool? 2-8. And he grounds it to short. That's for Maxville. To Torrey, 2 away. And here's Durker now. Boy, quite a ball game for Nelly Bryles. 1 run. 5 hits. 1 of them was a home run, but the rest singles. Struck out 7, and he's walked at 1 batter. It was Wynn, who made it around to third and was left on base. So he's pitched very good baseball. Durker comes up here, top of the 7th. All these people want to take selfies with, and these are frickin' other congresspersons. Kathy Harden. Take a picture with the new, like he's an instant celebrity. He's 2 heartbeats away, Kathy Harden. The pitch to Durker. And that's 6-6. And he struck him out for number 8. And a big hand for Nelson. Kathy Harden, Nelson Bryles walking back into the dugout. And look at him. He's trying to compose himself, trying to hold himself together. It's not easy to do emotionally sometimes, but he's pitching an awesome frickin' ball game. And Durker's pitching great now, too. He's retired 13 in order. It's the 7th inning stretch. I'm going to stretch my molecules, if it's all right with all of you. Here's a chance for you to powder your nose. Do whatever you do. And enjoy yourself for about 5 minutes. We're going to get back to this ball game. We are in St. Louis via remote broadcasting from Studio B in Victoria Park, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the U.S. of A. Louisiana Representative Mike Johnson was elected House Speaker. The Dow is down 102. NASDAQ down over 300, 327. Somehow the tech sector has gotten hit pretty damn hard today. We're going to head to the bottom of the 7th. I'm taking a break. Ball 4's legend, Charles. And, you know, the great thing about Ball 4, I don't remember the year it came out, 74, 75, is it got young people, I'm talking young people of the age of 12, to read. What's wrong with my Strat-O, Kathy Harden? Oh, yeah, you mean during the 7th inning stretch? Exactly. You know, she's good. Isn't she good? You know, Charles, Kathy is my favorite. I hope you understand. She was my first. You know, you always have my first Strat-O-Matic friend online, not in history. But Kathy Harden, where were we? Oh, yeah. It got them to read. You know, I had in 6th grade when I was 11 and a half years old, 12 years old. You know, I had Mr. Rogan. He was the best teacher I ever had. And I'm sure some of you may recall, we had parent-teacher conferences. It was about twice a year. And my mother asked him, is it okay? All he reads are books about the Beatles and baseball. And Mr. Rogan said to her, oh, sure, that's fine, as long as he's reading. And yeah, so Ball 4 was a great book. I think I was probably about 14. I'm sorry, 15 when it came out. And I read it right away. My father got it. And I'm not sure I could thoroughly get a lot of it. I should reread it, you know. I was sad to find out he died. You don't think of a Jim Bouton as being dead. There are some people you just never really thought of being dead. You know, Wayne Dyer was another one, the self-help guy, the guru guy. I knew him personally. Anyway, this has been quite a ball game, folks. And, oh, it's obscene, Charles? That's funny. Obscene. Oh, that is funny. Yeah. You know what was my favorite when I was a kid? And you know what I did? I took it out from the library. We had the Bryant Library in Roslyn, New York. And it was Hunter Davies' unauthorized biography. Now, I have a guess that you or someone here has heard of it. Hunter Davies, the Beatles looked down on it. They didn't like it. It was unauthorized. The other thing is, in later years, I got into Lennon's book called One Day at a Time, which is just a delightful, it's soft cover, but it's a uniquely shaped book. It's bigger than a way bigger than a, in some ways it's longer, wider, has great photos. One Day at a Time, about his post-Beatle life. Learned about his depression, learned about his repressed hurt over the loss of his mother, twice, losing her twice. Oh, orgies. Oh, did they? Boy, that must have been a lot of fun, huh? And there was nothing you could live or die for when it came to sex like that. Excuse me if I borrowed that. You know, but AIDS came around. I remember I read my first article about HIV in a New York, I think it's called New York Magazine. Back then it was good. I don't know how it is today. And it was about this disease. This is like right before it became huge. Because my parents subscribed to so many magazines. I was so lucky. You know what I'm saying? Davies. Oh, fable? Well, some of it's not fable, Charles. Some of it, maybe some of it is, right? Yeah, we have, Bronx Zoo, absolutely. So Kathy Harden, Adjust Your Stratitude is a, oh, really, Charles? A bio about Bouton. I'm reading up on all this now. Oh, that might be, he was an interesting person because I really think that he was sort of a more, I don't know what word but a better thinker, let me put it that way. Hey, no problem, Mike. I get it 100%, yeah. Boy, I asked you that a long time ago. That is funny. Did he really? That's a good name for a gum. That's a hell of a good name for a gum as far as a product goes. But, you know, you don't get, you know, Major League Baseball is a microcosm of society. So you're going to get smart people, people that aren't too bright. he had a talent. I don't know what his career aspirations were as a young man when he was, I guess, pitching in high school, right? If he had any. I don't think a lot of these people say to themselves, well, I want to be a Major League Baseball player, seriously. And I have the talent for it. You talking to me, Mike? About the invite? Or maybe it was, is there an easy way to invite people? Okay, I'll get back to this ball game in about 2 minutes. Yeah, this is one hell of a ball game. God. And I'm just having a great time. It's almost like a little bit of small ball. And two great pitchers, Durker and Bryles. I am just trying to stay chill here and just not let things overwhelm me. You know, there's nothing right now that's going to get in my way. And we are here in Studio B of the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Network. And we're taking a little break. It's a seventh inning stretch, a time to adjust your molecules, adjust your stratitude, do the other things, and just have a good time. And these people are the greatest people, really. Somehow, the group of Strat-O-Matic people, Charles now, you know, Charles is an instant classic guy. Charles, Mike, Kathy, Rick, Rhodes Scholar. We got Gigi sometimes. I'm trying to think who else there is. I feel terrible if I miss somebody. There's Rick. Mentioned Rick. There's a couple guys who have like a generic name. Having a great time. Mike Terranova, also a New Yorker. Do you know Mike, Charles? He's a New Yorker. He's as New York as you can get, Terranova. And he's just a great guy. And I believe he has every set ever released, which is wild. I would assume that means, I think he said it does the basic baseball. Oh, okay, Charles, you don't know him. Okay, but do you know him, Mike? Just kidding. That's cool. He's a great guy, Charles. Just met him today, friend of Rhodes Scholar. All right, we've got quite a ball game here. The bottom of the seventh. It's Durker now. He's retired 13 in order. That's a lot of sets, yes. And I played a game with him on YouTube Live, but it was absolutely on the fly. If any of you want to take one of these teams right now for the last couple innings, you'll see how easy it is. You're playing 2020. With the 2019 set, I'm not sure I understand that. If any of you want to pick it up, including you, Kathy Harden. Oh, okay, 2019 stats. I guess you're talking 365, which is like something so beyond me. I'm an originalist when it comes to Strat-O-Matic. You know, I mean, it is cool. I'm seriously considering expanding the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Network to the Strat-O-Matic Sports Network. Oh, is that true, Rick? That's pretty sad. And Kathy Harden, Hot Dog Jackson, the self-proclaimed genius, putting down Mickey Rivers because he thinks he's not as intelligent as him. Well, he was pretty smart at the plate. Rivers was one hell of a hitter. Okay? So, you know, and how is he measuring intelligence? Okay? Where do you live again, Mike? You live in Queens, don't you? I'm not sure where you live. Oh, he was a great Yankee. I could still see him batting. You know, his stance reminds me a little bit of Willie Mays, but maybe even more accentuated than that. He really swung up there. Shit. Okay, Bryles has retired 13 in order. Here's McCarver now to lead it off. Redbirds lead by 2 here in the first of a doubleheader. We're undecided on game 2. We might just hang out. Who knows? Here's Bryles now. That's going to be 4-2 left-handed. Chops it to first. It's picked up by Torrey, and he takes it to the bag. That's one away. Oh, did he? Kathy, wow, you know your shit. Was he a gambler? Was that what that was about, or was he a jockey? I mean, what are we talking about here? He was a kind of small guy. Okay, here's Shannon. Shannon died about 8 months ago, give or take. Here's Bryles now, 14 in order. That's 3-8. And he pops him up to Mankey, who makes the catch. It's 2 away. That's 15 in order. Oh, not 15. I am so sorry. 12. I am so sorry now. I thought there was another inning there. Disregard that, will you? Here's Julian. Oh, I didn't know that, Kathy. Was he a winner? Mike is suggesting he was a winner. That's legal gambling. To me, that's a sick thing to do because you never win. I don't care how big these guys are. Maybe there's a dozen guys you can't possibly win. I understand some people are better than others when it comes to poker and things like that. Here's Javier. Bryles now. And the pitch. That's 6-3. And it's a fly to left. Getting under that is Jesus, 421. I'm new, Charles. 14-4, it's an F2. I'm freaking new. This is to left field. Jesus, 21. Especially when I've taken a hit. And I've only taken one hit. 6-12-15. Oh, it's a 2-base error by Jesus. Oh, that's, that you can't afford shit like that. The hell is that? It's an F2E2. That's exactly what it is, with 2 outs though. So a 2-base error, and that's the first error of the ball game. And it's charged to, wait a minute. That was to left field. Yeah. Jesus. Yeah. That's the weed. I had no idea about that about Mickey Rivers. Lord. Okay, here's Maxville now. Oh, it's a 2-base error, I'm sorry. This is gonna run out someday. And I don't have any of this shit. I might get the fluid, because I can't trust this shit. Fluid, I know it exists. Here's Maxville now. Bryles from the stretch. 2 outs. That's 5-8 right-handed, flies it to center. It's shallow. Toy Cannon coming in, and he shoestrings it. And the side is retired. Nice catch by Wynn out in center. The side is retired. No runs, no hits. The error left on. We've gone 7. It's a 3-1 ball game, folks. Fasten your seatbelts. Here's Durker now, the winner of record. The loser of record. But look at Bryles. Well, he finally got a base runner there. Here's Durker now. What am I doing? That's the weed. Here's Bryles for the top of the order. Jesus. Yeah, Kathy, I know. I just don't feel like I have the funds for it right now, and there's something sort of adventurous for me living on this one right here. And these right here. You know, sometimes I force myself to not eat dinner or something and be hungry. I'm not starving. Get in touch with what it's like for people who really are destitute. Okay? And I have water, and I have lifesavers, and if I really get hungry, I can make some baked beans or garbanzo beans. Even though I really don't have the ingredients for the garbanzo beans, I could look it up and see if there's a recipe with mayo and mustard, and then add pepper. Oh, that's funny. I'll tell you one thing Rivers had, a sense of humor. But I'll tell you this, is that true about Mickey? Because if it is, I feel bad for him. He really couldn't read or write? That's too bad. I once saw a client, I won't tell you anything about their diagnosis or anything, but because I'm retired now, who, as an aside from his presenting problem, he says, I can't read or write. He was like 28 or something, 30. And I said, do you know how easy it is to learn how to read and write? And he said, no. And I hooked him up with a free, these are people who really want to have meaning in their lives by helping others, a free place. And he came back to see me, and I was so proud of him. Oh yeah, peak ego, shit. Well, you know, that's why we call him Hot Dog Jackson, Charles. That was coined by Kathy Harden. I get a little credit. She started the ball rolling, saying he's a hot dog. Okay, here's Jesus. It's going to be Jesus, Morgan, and Wynn. They're down by 2, top of the 8th already. Here's Nellie Bryles, who's quietly pitching awesome baseball. Okay, that's 3-5 right-handed. Chops it to second for Javier, 1 down. And now Morgan 0 for 3. Morgan is now 2 for 4. Morgan struck out in the first, flew to right twice. Bryles. What are you talking about, Mike? Super advanced, not basic. I don't know. Is there someone else texting? Oh, is that right, Rick? I learned from in school. And I took a book home one day and I said to my mother, this is too hard for me. A kid said you could take a book home. I said, this is too hard. I'll get something easier. I'll never forget that. Okay, here's Bryles and the pitch to Morgan. That's 5-4, left-handed. He chops it to third. That's going to be for Shannon, a 3. Because I'm very buzzed. 324. Oh. 324. That's 11. That's whoops. Very buzzed. Oh shit! What am I doing here? Uh, 324. That's 1112. Wait a minute. That's a 20. That's a 20. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's a G1. And I don't know why. This one has really got me. It's the weed, Kathy. 24. Sometimes you know what it is? You get hooked up with your boy, that's pretty profound, Kathy. The straw man that stirred the drink. Wow. That's 4, 5, 6, 7. He's going to ground out to Shannon. Two outs. That took a while. It's, you know what happens? I could feel it. My brain was disconnected. That's an awfully insufferable. You know, I just don't know. I'm not a perfect person myself, but I think that's cruel. Instead of mocking him, making him the butt of a joke, why not help him, for Christ's sakes? You're such a frickin' genius. Where's your humanity? What did Reggie say about himself? Oh, he set the straw that stirred the drink? Wow, maybe straw man would be better. Here's Win, the toy cannon now. 2 outs, nobody on, just got sort of in a loop here. Enjoying the ball game. Here's Bryles now. Yeah, oh, okay. Thank you, Kathy. That's 1-6, right-handed, walked him. So Win is on. 2 outs. We've had 2-out rallies, and that's going to bring up Norman Miller. Now, in what way would you say, Charles, that he maligned Munson? I didn't know any of this shit. And the shit between Peterson and Kekich with their wives, you want to know something? I'm a pretty open-minded person, but that's inappropriate and too dangerous for your children. Get a divorce, for Christ's sakes. And let your children stay with the mother, for Christ's sakes. Oh. Wait a minute, Charles, sometimes I'm slow. He was the straw that stirred the drink. Now, why is that? Why would that be a dig at Munson? Because Munson's the captain? That Munson should be the leader, which he was? You know what I'm saying? Okay, Miller is a left-handed hitter, so he'll face Bryles. Bryles has stepped off the mound a moment. He's coming back on. It's 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Stroh's down by 2 with Norman Miller at the plate, the tying run. Win on first, ready to go at anything. He's a 1 to 15 being held. But we're going to just have Miller with 2 outs hit away. Here's the pitch from Broyles. That's going to be 110, right-handed. Oh, hits it to first. Torrey takes it, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. The walk and left on. We're heading to the bottom of the 8th, folks. It's a good ball game. St. Louis 3, Houston 1. Here's Durker now. Now he has 13 in a row. And it's going to be Nellie Bryles gets a big hand from the hometown crowd. Bryles steps in. Oh, okay. He knew Mickey Rivers. Okay, well, that's cool. I just think that's cruel. What the hell are you going to beat down on somebody because of a limitation that they have? Especially when it doesn't hurt anyone but themselves. Okay, here's Durker now. Friggin' 1-6 struck him out. It's just cruel. Who the hell says that about someone publicly? God. Here's Brock. Brock 0 for 3 today. Flood comes out on deck. Durker. That's 2-4. No, he doesn't have 12 in a row. I'm sorry about it because of the error. 2-4 right-handed. Hit to first. Blefary, he's going to throw this one to Lawrence, covering the bag 2 away. It's been quite a ball game. Great pitching today. Here's Flood 1 for 3, doubled and scored. The first run for St. Louis. If you're looking ahead to the top of the 9th, it will be Blefary, Menke, and Rader. Here's Flood now. And that's 2-4 right-handed. Grounds it to third for Rader. And the side is out. We're heading to the 9th. This is it, folks. Nellie Bryles has allowed 1 run in 8 innings. 5 hits. One of them was the homer in the first by Win. He's walked 2, struck out 8. And he's in to win this, looking for his 14th of the season in a very good season for Houston this year. Now Bryles is ready. You like these pens right here? Yeah, these are great. For the price, I guess. These right here you're talking about? Or is it a different pen you're talking about? The pitch to Blefary. I got used to these. 2-7 right-handed, 1-5. It's a base hit by Kurt Blefary. Oh my, it went right through. And I thought originally Javier might have a play on that, but no. And Blefary 3 for 4 today, 3 singles. And Menke comes up. He's the tying run. Let's look at that again. Interesting play. I thought for a moment Javier, but it was so fast, hit so hard and fast by Blefary. That was a 2-7 right-handed. And that was 1-5 going through past Julian. And that's exactly what it did with the 3 on the 20 die. So Blefary, a 1-14, a 1-12. Not being held, Mankey. And I don't have to say not being held, but sometimes I do. But the only way to hold someone is to say it out loud. You gotta say it out loud, people. You should do that in solitaire also. You can't think it. You need the extra. Mankey 0 for 3. Miller, Bryles digs into that rubber. Wait a minute. Do what for what person, Mike? Oh, you're talking about, boy, that was a long time ago. It was one of the most rewarding things. It was like an extra, sort of an extraneous to the presenting problem, but, you know, and I just encouraged him to go. I told him he had to do it. And I don't remember, it was just sort of like it was a soft sell, and he went. And he started learning. And then I didn't need to see him anymore. As long as he stays on his meds, and he can always call back if needed. Dennis Mankey. Oh, you play Super Advanced? Sure. I'm playing most of Super Advanced. There's some things I'm not doing. I'm not doing the stealing yet. I think part of it is I'm a little lazy to get going with that. And then there's a few other things. But getting to the advanced X chart is a major, I really feel it's a major step from advanced to, in other words, for me, it was a incremental and a very good step. Here's Mankey now. Mankey, I like Dennis Mankey. He started on the Braves. You know, he's on the 64 Braves. That's a suspended replay, by the way. 1911 and 64. They're available if we ever want to go back to them. I got everything. You know, I could get 1968, which super advanced. That is super. But I want to finish this one, and also I'm thinking football now. And so I'm looking to drop 58 plus shipping for football. Okay, Mankey comes up. We're not going to have him sacrifice. It's an idea, but we'll just have him hit away. Here's Bryles from the stretch. And the pitch to Mankey. That's 412 right-handed. Oh, a liner to short, and it's just caught by Maxville. Oh, my. He was lucky to get at that. Lord, let's look at that again. 412 right-handed. Single 1-2, it's a 3. And just able to get to that Maxville, and that'll bring up Doug Rader. Rader, the tying run. Edwards comes out on deck. Oh, is that right? You saw him play? He's a scrappy player, you know. He's an adequate shortstop. 3. He is a 31. That seems high. Here's the pitch to Rader. That's going to be a 110 right-handed, and he chops it to second. Javier throws it over to Torrey. Blefary moves to second on that. It moved Javier to his left toward first base. He had to field it there, and it's the only play he had. Blefary on second, 2 outs, makes a little difference here. Johnny Edwards is the scheduled batter. I do not see him coming out. The umpire is now approaching the Houston dugout and saying, give me a batter. My God, Edwards. Caught the second game too. Can you believe that? I wonder if they were just stuck without a backup. God. Two outs. We're going to let him hit, Kathy, because he's in the lineup. Wait a minute. This is the top of the ninth. I have Marty Martinez. Isn't that something that he can catch? And he hit 308. And he's a switch hitter. Marty Martinez is coming out. And Edwards is probably not happy about it. Here comes Marty Martinez. But he is a switch hitter. He'll be batting left against Bryles. He is the tying run. He doesn't have any power, though. In fact, there is no way he can hit a home run. But Martinez steps in. He's a switch hitter. He'll bat left against Bryles. 2 outs, top of the ninth. Leffery on second. Martinez the tying run. It's 3-1 St. Louis over Houston. First of a double. First of a 3-game series. The date is August 26, 1969. Replay. From the stretch, and the pitch to Martinez. That's 2-5, right-handed. Oh, he flies it to left. And Brock is under it. And the ball game is over. It also would have been a fly to left on Edwards. And so that's going to be the ball game here. And a good game it was. The final score, if you like pitching, St. Louis 3 and Houston 1. The win goes to Bryles. He went all the way, and boy was he good. He had runners on base, but he was in command of this ball game. 6 hits. He walked 2. He struck out 8. And he allowed that 1 run, which was Jimmy Wynn, cannoned it out of here. Durker with a tough loss. He allowed only 4 hits. In fact, this isn't something. The winning Cardinals did not get a hit after the 3rd inning. How do you like that? Durker, he didn't walk anybody. He struck out 4 and he allowed 3 runs. And so that 2-run home run by Veda Pinson turns out to be the charm. Final score, St. Louis 3 runs, 4 hits, getting out-hit by Houston. Houston 1 run, 6 hits, and 1 error. And that's the way to play a ball game. Okay? That is the way. I know you wanted Houston, Kathy. Part of me wanted Houston, but part of me also wanted St. Louis, because this is going to put St. Louis within 7 games of the first place Pirates. Holy shit. The Cards only had 2. I remember, Rick, I'm glad you enjoyed the game. Give me a batter. Guess what? I got that from Road Scholar. I got that from and I just saw Road Scholar for the first time, came in here. I met Charles. He's a great guy. We hit it off right away. I saw that in a movie. Okay? I don't remember which movie it was. I think it might have been, I think it was The Natural, which I don't want to get into a pissing contest. I think it was the greatest baseball movie ever made. Just for reasons that Field of Dreams and especially any of the ones with Costner, So that's the ball game, and there's going to be a second game here. And right now, I don't know if it's going to happen. So follow at risk. Continue to stay in this ball game here, only at risk for the chance that I may abandon this. Both teams, their pitchers went all the way. You know, in the small ball era, they had triple headers. And I think there was one pitcher who... Washburn is starting, by the way, for St. Louis. I can tell you that right now. St. Louis won this one 4-2. St. Louis won the first one 1-0. And so this was a twilight doubleheader, by the way. It's LeMaster, a fine pitcher, against Washburn. When I do a second game, we'll just go Houston now 10.5 out. And St. Louis 7. And I say St. Louis wants to win this one. Washburn wants to win this because magic 6.5. It's an important milestone as far as I'm concerned. Whether I'll play this game or not, I do want to tell you some things to look forward to in the ball game. Sandy Valdez-Spino will be playing left field in place of Jesus. He died in real world. Edwards will catch another game, and believe it or not, McCarver will catch a second game. The lineup for St. Louis is identical, except that Veda Pinson moved from 3rd to 8th, and Julian Javier, who was 7th, and Maxville moves to 7th. Julian Javier, who went 0 for 3, but he's batting 3rd. It's going to be Washburn and LeMaster. Good pitcher, good ERA. Left-hander, okay. that has something to do with it. And I wouldn't go to get too hung up about that record. It's just bad breaks, I think. As far as, you never know, but I think he might have been a pretty good pitcher. And Washburn. Washburn has won one game in the replay. LeMaster comes in with 7. That's 3. Well, actually, it's 2. I don't know where I'm getting some of that stuff. Here's how I do it. I just use a file, a document file. This is the file. I just pull it here. Here's Washburn with 2. And here is, I'd love to be able to scroll this. Sometimes when I'm looking at this, I just want to go like this. I got this right here. God. LeMaster with 7. Okay, some of you wondering, take a peek at our standings. Enjoying the replay very much. You know, I think that there's some real messed up stuff going on in the mind of Trump as he sits in that, I think it's a Georgia courthouse. I can't even keep up with it anymore. And I'm not even trying to put him down or anything. I'm just saying he is a human being. And that must, you know, he's got a lot of emotional issues. And so he is probably just infuriated. I think in a way he's enjoying the attention. Anyway, the big story in the National League this season is I would say, the Pittsburgh Pirates, who have a 7.5 game lead. They had an 8 game lead. I think they may even been 9 at one point. And St. Louis today has trimmed it down. I'll adjust this after the game. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it. I'll do it systematically. They've won 4 in a row. Cardinals started off a little on the slow side. They were, a few games under 500 in the spring. And they have come back slowly and consistently as the National League champions to move now within 7, a chance 6.5. Cubs were in the spring, they were about 3-4 games out, and then it just went to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8. And as we find ourselves here deep in August, they're 9 games behind the Pirates. The Mets are having their best season in the history of their franchise. Clearly better than even 68, which was a good year for them. They were like only, I don't know what they were, 5 games under 500. You could all look it up. And they are 3 games under 500. They've been just struggling for a couple weeks now, trying to get up to 500. They were 500 in the spring at times, but they've always been behind, and now they've fallen behind by 13. They've lost some tough games. Expos are a surprise only because they're 6 games ahead of the Phillies. And the Phillies, I don't know what their first year was, but I'm going to think it's probably in the 19th century, believe it or not. I could be wrong. But if not, then it's like early 1900s. And the Phillies are having a tough time. They're doing a little better. You know how you can get the pulse of how a team is doing. They're doing a little better, and they've come within 4 games of Montreal. Hey, Mike Terranova, thanks for the feedback. Appreciate that very much. Yeah. Yeah. Take my time, actually. You're exactly right. And the Phillies have some good bats with Dick Allen, Johnny Callison. Heisel has gotten some good hits this season. And some of their pitchers are okay. But I guess the rest of the team is not really doing much. Now, the West is another story. For much of the season, the Braves were ahead by a game and a half, 2 games. I think at one point they even got 3 games this month. But the Giants have come back. Braves went on their first losing streak, but it wasn't a big one. And right now the Giants are tied up with Atlanta after their win this morning. It was a good game. It was 4-3 over the Phils. Perry went right into the 9th with 2 outs, but he ran out of elephant juice. And Lindsay came in to finish it, finish it off in the top of it. And a fascinating thing about this game was it was 3-0 Giants, and in the top of the 9th, the Phillies scored 3 runs. 2 were unearned. Giants came back, though, a walk-off single by Lanier with Dietz on third, and boy, I didn't mention it, he was on his horse. So Lindsay got the win. Boozer was a loser. Bonds hit 2 home runs, his 30th and his 31st. So like I said, they have tied the Braves. We were talking about Houston earlier. A lot, because they're playing this doubleheader. And they're, like the Mets, they're having their best season in franchise history. But even better than the Mets, they're 5 games over 500, and they're in 3rd place ahead of Cincinnati by a half game. Problem for Cincinnati has been the pitching. The bats are strong. LA throughout much of the spring was 8 games, 7 games maybe under 500. They've come back. They're 2 games under, but they're 13 and a half behind. And the Padres take up the rears on their way to losing about 100 games, maybe 102, but we'll see. Fortunately, the Padres are the worst team in the National League and one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. Fortunately for the Phils, although the Phils have played 3 games less than San Diego, and they are currently two games ahead of their pace. But we'll see San Diego. San Diego has an interesting cast of characters, but you know, there's an old expression. One of their main color has always been brown, and you know, you don't see a lot of brown cars. You know why? Blue sells, brown sticks around. Most people don't like brown cars, and like Frank Zappa said, brown shoes don't make it. Actually, a nice brown shoe can be very nice with the right suit. Moving to the National League, they're almost ready to print up tickets. There's such excitement in Baltimore and Minnesota. Both teams doing great. And both teams, especially Baltimore, are on their way to 100 or more wins. Twins have won 7 in a row. In the East, the returning world champion Detroit Tigers. Would you mind if I took a hit, by the way? Are not what they were last year. McLean got off to a flaming start. I got worried that maybe he would win 40 games at this pace when we were in early May. And then I realized he probably doesn't pitch sometimes in rotation in the rest of the season. And that was true. And he's also lost a few games. They're not what they used to be, but they're on their way to maybe winning 90, depending on how they do. But if that were to happen, then they'd be almost 20 games out with 90 wins, which is kind of bizarre. I don't think that could happen. Red Sox are in third. They're 8 games over 500. I'll tell you the thing about the Red Sox is they provide. Now, I know Kathy Harden doesn't like the Red Sox, but they have been exciting baseball with Carl Andrews bats second. It just goes on and on. Carl Smith, Tony, and this is off the top of my head. It just goes on and on. Another good story are the Washington Senators. They're 1 game over 500. This was their only winning season. This is the expansion Senators, the 61 expansion Senators who moved to Texas after 71, I believe. And they forfeited their last game when the fans ran on the field. Yankees, huge disappointment. And they're underperforming based on how they really were. I think they were a few games over 500. They're 12 under, which is actually a little better than they were. And Cleveland, I'm telling you, they are the pits. They're better than KC and Seattle. Oakland is the second place team in the AL West. You have Hot Dog Jackson, who now I have a new appreciation for his cruelty as a human being, thanks to some of my friends here. I learned a lot from the Strat-O-Matic, and if any of you folks want to come on and just chat about Strat-O-Matic, I'll set up a special space, Kathy. I'm going to take a hit if you don't mind. And we'll just set it up. It's very easy to do. In fact, I could do it right now. If you're game for it, the link, got to use your smartphone, and you just click the link that I would put both in the live text and the description. And if you hit it, I can let anybody on who agrees to come on. I could even have multiple people, have someone come on for a bit of time, have them that you can only have one guest. You can use special streaming software. This guy is being asked by fellow congresspersons to have his picture taken in a selfie. And he's an instant celebrity. Oh, that is so tasty. Staying with the West, the Oakland A's with Hot Dog Jackson. Bando wallops one. He's great at third. Rick Monday's been injured for much of the August for the last, about 2 weeks. But we're hoping he'll come back. In the meantime, Jose Tartable has filled in and done very, very nicely. And the pitching has been good. White Sox, California is the third place team, and they have dipped a little. They were about 500 in the spring at times. They're now 6 games under 500, and you got some great talent on that ball club. Andy Messersmith, Rudy May, he can pitch for me any day. And of course, the prankster. The prankster oh. Oh. Ooh. Let me just recover from that hit, and I'll get back to the rest of that division, and then we'll go over the individual leaders. Folks, over here, I only do stats, of course, 1 loss, games behind, really the only essential stat, which we've been looking at. But I do home runs and wins. Now, if I do another replay, I'll end up doing wins and losses. I started that on the 1911 and 64 replays. If I get 72 NFL football, I think I just don't know. I don't think I would keep any individual statistics. As much fun as it would be to keep yards. And I move this over to sometimes get a better look at the text. Oh, welcome. Give me a batter. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Kathy, it's like I'm reading up on your text now. Yeah, Rick, I learned a lot today. Welcome to Charles. I understand Rhodes Scholar. He's your friend. And he's a great guy. Great guy. Just met him today. Now, Whoops. Staying here, the White Sox have been a huge disappointment. They've been just about on this pace all year. There was a time when KC or even Seattle were threatening to bite, but not now. They have won 3 in a row. Twins have won 7 in a row. KC and Seattle, I'll tell you one thing about them. They're fun to play. Okay? Let me just put it that way. I like them all. I like Seattle a lot just for the personality, the uniqueness of the team, having played only one season there, and moving to Milwaukee. And even Ray Euler, the shortstop, he's a 2 at short. But the fielding is horrendous. The pitching is horrendous. There, you can get a few pops from the bat, though. Got Tommy Davis. And people, eventually they'll get hits. Comer hit a homer the other day, I believe. He died about 3 weeks ago. Wayne Comer, very, very obscure ball player. Let's move on to the individual stats here. We're between games of the doubleheader, and we don't even know if I'm playing it. I may jump out and get something to eat. And play it later. In the National League, Willie McCovey leads with 41 home runs. This was not updated after today's game. Oh, Rhodes Scholar. I know you're just kidding. You know, by the way, I don't want to get pseudo-intellectual or analyze, but teasing someone can be a rapport building exercise with semiotics and meta communication. It means that I'm comfortable enough with you to kid you, even maybe to make fun of your behavior. I wouldn't make fun of the person. But then teasing can be interpreted at a different level as being mean-spirited. And so, you know, there's a meta-communication to that, which is fascinating. I didn't mean to get pseudo-intellectual. Let's get back to this this business here. Stargell a little behind schedule with 34. Bond's doing nicely, 31. Henry is way behind with 28. Tolan has been hitting him out, but he not recently. 25. Tony has 23. The toy cannon hit 2 today, didn't he? Let me double check that. Or was that the other game? No, he hit 1. His 26th. Wait a minute. This has to be updated anyway. You know, sometimes I don't update them when they, let's just go take a look here how he is down here. He's going to have more than that amount, 21. See, 25. This was number 26. I'll put that in now. I might have missed that one. I try my best, folks. You see why I don't want to do full stats? And I do those in real time anyway, so now we know he's 26. We'll put Jimmy above Bobby Tolan. Ernie has 21. I'll double check those after this doubleheader because it's the completion of the schedule. I check these periodically to update them from the lower list. Juan Marichal leads Major League Baseball with 22 wins. He hasn't been wasting time. He has a chance to win 27. Hands with 19. Claude has 18, tied with Perry, who won his 19th this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Philip has 17, Big Ron Reed 17, Doc Ellis with 16, and Kenny Holtzman with 16. We'll check that too. In the American League, it's all about Hot Dog Jackson, isn't it always? For at least Hot Dog Jackson. I'm playing with the windows here. Here we go. I play 1 to 2, Charles. It's fraternal, yeah. I play 1 to 2. That's a good word for that. You see, like I'm playing like I played one this morning. Now I played a second game. It's quite common. To play a third is probably going to be too much for me tonight. Okay, yeah. But getting back to these leaders here in the American League, big man Howard with 42. I believe he had 48 in real world. Killebrew 37, just a tad underperforming. I think he had 49. Willie has 33. Carl with 33. Rico with 32. He had 40. Boom Boom Powell. John Boom Boom Powell has 31. Super Jew Mike Epstein, 31. And Frank Robinson, 31. And hey, gentlemen, I want to end to Kathy Harden. She understands. Just draw a sociological difference about culture, language, morality. When we were kids, he was called Super Jew. And it was an endearing nickname. But today, I don't think it would fly. I'm Jewish, so it doesn't bother me. And in the win column, Boswell. I mean, with them doing so well, Minnesota, you've got to have some good pitching. And they actually have 3 people in the top 5. Okay, Boswell with 19, Cott with 17, and Jim Perry with 16. If they all stay healthy, the 3 of them have a shot at 20, especially Boswell and Cott and Perry. If you look at Baltimore, they have 3 in the top 8. McNally with 18, Cuellar with 18, that's 2 20-game winners. And Palmer with 15, he was hurt for, the longest time, 6 weeks, 4 weeks. I would say for much of July, or part of July and part of August. He has come back and he's pitched very well. For the returning champ Tigers, it's only Denny with 16. He can win 20. Oakland, Blue Moon with 15. Hunter with 13. Andrew has 14. So that's how that goes. Now, if any of you are interested in any idiosyncratics, I could go down this list, but I don't think so. I don't frickin' think so. Oh, you like my scoring, you like? The way I learned how to score was twofold, Charles. First, watching my friends do it, and they did it this way. So I owe a debt of gratitude to the 2 of them. But the other way is I think I have refined it a bit from them. You see what I'm saying? It's simple. You can almost always figure out who went where on bases. I mean, this one, for example, is easy. He walked, he stole second. So right away, you know that this guy's not going to move him. It would be rare. He grounded out. Blefary singled. And that's when he went to third. Okay. You could just tell. you deduce it. You know, there wasn't much in this ball game. I'd like to see one of your sheets. I'll tell you who scores a banger of a game, and that's Mr. Terranova. I don't know if you're still here, Mike. But in any case, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't color in the diamond. No. It is very intuitive. Yeah, and it's also visually, okay, it's easy. Okay, it's simple. The other thing, sometimes, like if this was a great play here, I would go like this, and a great play would be like on a split call. The second baseman gets it, you know, or that's one other thing I do. And that's about it. I have to write these down. I've got to write these down. The second question. Oh, I started playing and maybe you could tell me. I started playing this replay. First of all, here's a fact, because I don't have the exact date. It was after the pandemic started. And I want to tell you something. I'm going to be really conservative and give at least 6 months. I think that would be June 2020. 2021. June 2021. I think the pandemic really hit like around January 2021. I'm sure someone here could. Oh, you're doing coffee. Shit, Road Scholar. You know, that reminds me, I have some for a pick-me-up. I'm not up for another game, folks. I just would love to do it. Maybe I am. If anyone out there's a bunch of you here who are willing to come on now. If I open up a new broadcast, March, Road Scholar, okay. So that's when it hit. Maybe September. Maybe September then. But I think it's longer than 2 years. I think it might have been like I might have done it like, let's call it right away, March. So now it's 2 years and over 2.5 years. It's going to take about another 15 months. Oh, okay, that sounds more right. It does sound like I've been doing this for 3+ years. And it's funny how you do that because I don't really even care. Now, I started broadcasting. I was playing these solo. I occasionally played them on Periscope, on Twitter, which I kind of liked. Kathy, that's where I saw Kathy really was my first part of the community there. And then I stopped doing that, and I at one point, starting in this schedule, you could see it on my channel, there's July. It was sometime in like middle July or something. And that goes to show you I've been doing it for a good month and a half. And what happened was I started to do games. And I think I did one. And I did the next. I said, let me do the next game. And almost immediately I decided, I'm going to do every game. And whereas a replay, now granted I've only done this since July, and when I say July, of course I'm talking within the replay. Uh, um, oh, that's funny, yeah. Absolutely, Charles. Charles, yeah, I play every morning. It seems that one is the most, occasionally I'll miss a morning. But I'm doing every morning, and I do them at ungodly hours. Okay? Like 6:30, 7:15, even 6. I've come close to doing one that started before 6, but I just said, Jeff, just hang on. And then I'll do an afternoon game, 2 o'clock. But you never know. I'm fickle, and I'll switch the schedule on you anytime. And I'll admit it. Sometimes I'll say a game is going to be at 2 p.m. I move it up to 3. And I don't think people get updates on their alerts, but and sometimes I'll have one where there's no game, and there's one tomorrow morning. Right now, nothing's scheduled. Schedule is denoted by having it posted. So it is the broadcast is a part of the game. It's part of the record of the game. And in fact, what was astonishing to me is, and I think it was this date of games, August 26, I questioned my own reading of a die, a 20 die or something, and wondered if I moved the dice. And Rhodes Scholar went back in time and confirmed it. And then I looked myself after the game. I didn't realize if I'm broadcasting even on the desktop, you could do that. And that is an invaluable feature to add to Strat-O-Matic. And that has nothing to do with, I mean, it is fun to think instant replay, but, or, where they do a request for whatever it's called. But it's actually good for Strat-O-Matic. You don't even have to think of it that way. You're just trying to get the accurate roll. Okay. And it's basically, it's a snapshot. Of what happened. Yeah, you'll get notifications. Now, you had another question. You are on game 65 of your 2020 replay. It's both awesome and daunting to me. Well, that's awesome, actually, an awesome way to look at it. It's both. And, what I do, first of all, I never thought I could do a replay when I was a kid. First of all, I didn't have the patience. But I also had other things like school, and other shit that I did. Swimming, whatever the hell it was. And I don't think about it. I might have thought about it at the beginning, but this is a part of my life, and this will continue to be about for the next 15 months if I go at a pace of about 1 1/4 games. I don't interrupt games, except in rare instances, but not quite 1 1/2 games a day. I figured it out. Maybe I'm off a little, but it's about 15 months, which would bring us to April 2025. Actually, I'm sorry. 15 months, it's actually January 2025. And a lot can happen in that time. First of all, I may not live. Okay? That's one absolute reality. And at least you could say I don't have an existential idea about, finishing this as my destiny or anything like that. I'm just enjoying it. And what I'm trying to do most of all is enjoy the process rather than solely the content or the outcome, that sort of thing. I had a great game today. That was a great game, 3-1. Yes, I do. I use the lineups from the actual 69 season, and no, I do not follow injuries. No injuries. I do it for starters. I also look at who relieved in the game in real world, and I write it down, like Boughton in this case. And I tend to use it as a guideline. Of course, sometimes, the Phillies will be winning, and I want to hold the lead, but they lost the game. They got bombed in real world on this game, so that the people who are available might be not the best, so I may use a Larry Doyle. Who didn't pitch many innings. And you don't need to do injuries because they're built in to the schedule, right? Think about it. Rod Carew has been out for like the last, God, I don't know how long, 10, 12, maybe even 14 games. He's due back in September, early. And I could look it up. I could Google it or something, but I bet you he did something like fracture his wrist. I doubt he could break it and come back. No, I have not. Is it about the beginning of APBA or what? I don't know why I thought that. I'm not an APBA person, by the way. That's amazing. Getting food to people. It's unbelievable in Gaza and Israel. But let's not get into that, okay? So I'm not sure what, but I guess I could Google it. And Terra Nova is still here. Great. I'm just going to chip away at this right here and think about what I might want to do. These are the last games of this date, actually. That's gratifying. Let me just double check. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and about 4 more dates in this month. Then we'll be moving to the September, which is a what would you call it? What's the word? A milestone. Sometimes I'm at a loss for words. Oh God, that is so tough, Road Scholar, to say. I'd be just guessing, okay? But I'm gonna say, of course, I'm gonna say Cleon. He's got to be hitting at least 300. He's consistently. I don't know if Kathy Harden is here, but she's seen every game with me. He has, and I just don't have the time. You understand? And do you understand the idea, as a 65-year-old man, that I don't want the cost-benefit ratio of all that work is just not worth getting the stats. If I was rich or something, I could hire people to do it. In fact, I'd have them come in and do it in front of me hourly. Can you imagine that? And I could teach anybody to do that. So, I'd have to be totally guessing. You know, you would want to think all the better hitters are doing well, but it could be. I wish I had the stats, but I can still enjoy it a lot because I do get a sense of players doing well. In theory, every at bat by a batter, a hitter, every fielding play, is like the first chance they get every time, based on their stats. So it's, you know, you can look at it that way. It's really something. You want to do the job, Rhodes Scholar? I don't have the money, and I don't want to bestow that on somebody. I don't want you to have any. It's just not worth it, even for others. I don't want your energy expended that way, even if you offered it for free. That is, and you lose track. You start keeping the stats, and then you think, oh, maybe I made a mistake here. Do I have to do it over? It's just not worth it. And I can get along just fine doing home runs in real time and wins and losses. This one has only wins, but the future will have both. I don't have time for the other stuff. Oh no, I was an internship. Well, then I have to get approved first by the institution to be a internship site. Okay, and I don't think this is challenging enough for an accounting major. I really don't. Now, I could be wrong. Okay. I mean, I guess but I wouldn't make this a legitimate, you know, if they vote on stuff like this. I used to be a continuing education provider for the mental health field, for therapists, counselors, family counselors. Counselor! Is that you, counselor? Counselor? Is that you? Yeah, so this was quite a ball game. I'm looking at it. I could look at it on the big screen too. I think the world, and this goes beyond Strat-O-Matic, people. I think the world, you know, I'm a 65-year-old man. Strat-O-Matic is just a pastime of mine, and I love the hell out of it. But by the way, I only like it now if I'm broadcasting. I have not played. You can figure out how many games. It's probably roughly about 30, 40 games. I've done other stuff too. Two other replays and on broadcast and a World Series '64. That's about 30, 40 games I've broadcast. These clubs have about 38 games left. I feel almost like I'm cruising. I'm in a zone. I wake up and I'm ready for Strat-O-Matic. And this one's going to be really easy because all I have to do is set it up. Well, I don't mean easy. I wish it was set up. I didn't. But we'll set that up. Is that you? I have not looked at that book. I guess I could Google it, Charles, if you're still with us. So yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, it might be really interesting to do the football, because in ways, football is even better than baseball in Strat-O-Matic. I forgot how in solitaire you got what the defensive position did. I forgot that, because I'd like to have basically all the capabilities. So I want to see what before I get this game, I want to see what is because I forgot. Does anybody know? And I tried to look at it online and I couldn't find anything on YouTube. Did you roll dice for it? Did you have a separate die? Could I create a separate die to make sure that you do it? Yeah, now I realize they have penalties. Penalties good. This would be a real exploration, and what I thought I would do is play my first game as an exhibition game. And again, it's 72, the Dolphins versus the Redskins. Dolphins 14-0, 16-0 in the playoffs. Redskins, I think they were 13-3, and they were favored. Kilmer, the quarterback, a very, very, what would the word be? Bland. Okay, not a bland dub, but kind of bland to me. Larry Brown, as I recall, was he a running back? Great player. I'm trying to remember who the players were. I guess they had great defense. Cowboys were good, and I think they got beat. I forgot about all this. And it's all on Football Reference. And yeah, I'd like to play some of those games. I'd like to play the Mets, the Jets, and I think they played Oakland on a Monday night game. I could be wrong. And Namath was on that team, but they were 7-7. It's weird that they have 14 games. I remember we thought that was plenty. Now they have 17, is it? And that's just using the players, and this head injury that, people don't talk about it enough. The head injuries, it's like, I liken it to, given that we're already morally, improved from this era, the Roman era, gladiators. And their legacy was to have died, killed by some lions or maybe another gladiator. It was an entertainment that was, if you, and I say this only as if I want to entertain you, maybe, how do I really know? But back in those days, if you went in that Coliseum and you took a seat on the bench, you're bound to see some weird shit. Like a lion running after a guy who has a sword or something. Circus type shit. And I'm wondering if I went there. Two questions. Number one, do they have refreshments? You know, like a stand where you can get food? Because I think they had money. And the other thing is, what about the babes? Okay, I'd like to meet some of those Roman babes from the Roman era. Okay, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not. I'm just trying to bust your chops. That's all. And if yeah, we're gonna pick this up tomorrow. And that's what we do. That's exactly what we do. We'll set up the lineups. And yeah, Mike. No. Sometimes I'm delayed. It's not. There is about a minute delay or something, but sometimes I'm delayed because I didn't look at it. You follow me, Mike? Now I'm talking to you. I just noticed this text of yours. I'm actually real time right now. I'm looking at it. I'm real time. Very real time. Let me see if I have, maybe I'll do a little bit of show and tell right now. I've never done that before. So are you with me, Mike? You say a delay. Yeah, thank you, Kathy Harden. It was great to see you. Yeah, I will not be doing a game. And I know that I should be condemned because I cut some of you on, maybe misleading you. I am a very fallible human. So the first thing I'm going to show you, if I could find it, I don't even know if I can find it. Okay, well, I'll show you this. This is a book I wrote, and it's in Korean. I was told by my publisher that this book that I wrote called Mastering the Art of Solution-Focused Counseling, and it's kind of funny because it's in Korean, you see. That is wild. Let me see something, how this, oh, it has a pretty good smell too. Oh, that's neat. Oh, look at this. Okay. Is that my name right there? Shit. That is so fucking cool. Isn't that? Can you imagine learning this? Does it go left to right? Yeah, it must. Can you imagine learning this? God. Here's the copyright by my publisher. And I did get one royalty check for this particular thing. I know how this is done here, and this is an intro to the book. I don't know if I can show you the. show you the. Now that's the second edition of that book. I don't think there's any. Okay. Now some people might be interested. I have some other items I might want to show. Here's one. It's just a piece of nostalgia. I'm not going to show you this. That's too private. Oh, here it is. Here it is. I've got some real goodies in here. Oh boy. This is super. And I'll show you what it looks like in there when I'm done, but this is super right here. These are a pair of small reds that I love. Now this is a little weird. I don't think it's appropriate to show this. Here's a white one. Yeah, I think that's what that is, Charles. I have a whole bunch of keys in here. The only other thing that I would like to show you, and I do have a black die here, but the other thing, I'm not into things. I want to explain that. I have tried to move away from a focus on externals and things and more on ideas and experiences. But I've held on to a few things. Here's one right here. I am a JFK assassination buff, if you will, history. Yeah, I read your comments, Mike. Now, I may have read this about 5 minutes or 3 minutes since you wrote that. I read your comments. Let me text it to you. Wow, this is pretty cool. I don't know how I did this, but this is pretty damn cool. That is weird, I'm telling you. Does it? In what way? I don't know what way you mean. Is it a solid sound? Has a little tin to it. Tinny sound to it. You hear that? This was all part of my life, but you want to know something? I'm talking about JFK being the president. And, oh, okay, I'd never noticed that. Feedback. Oh. Echo? I do hear some sort of sound in the air. Now, I don't have many coins. In fact, I don't know where I could find. I think I might be able to find. Let's do a formal test here. If I could find any goddamn coins. I think I used my last quarters. Oh, here we go. Here I have a few different types. Let's start off with a nickel. Well, okay. Let's try a dime. I'm gonna move that away. And then a penny. $1.50. Well, it's heavier, I'll tell you that. I don't see any other difference. I'm gonna do it one more time for you. Oh, absolutely, Charles. In fact, I'm gonna put it on the big screen and show you what happens. It's awesome. But this hasn't been working, this goddamn voice. YouTube Jeffrey Guterman. There it is. We're doing I'm gonna do a recursive loop on some of the sound, if that's okay with all of you. Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. You could actually see me just in my underwear there. I am so sorry. Yeah, there I am. Just in my undies. Oh shit, hold on. Let me get this on something else. There we go. And we like to play with the sound here, as the visual of whatever it may be. And we like to play with the sound here, as the visual of whatever it may be. And you just let it cook for a while like that. And you just let it cook for a while like that. And just let it cook and cook and cook. Don't worry, there's going to be nothing to clean up when you're done. My name is Jeffrey Guterman, and this is the Jeffrey Guterman Network. And I want to just tell you something right now. I am in Studio B. Here in Victoria Park, Fort Lauderdale. And we're at the Jeffrey Guterman Network. The great thing about it is that it subsumes and re-explains everything that I do. And therefore, if you're hanging out, that you do. That's Studio B right there for you. And therefore, if you're hanging out, that you. And this is a recursive loop, and we can also go back on it and let it continue to develop in complexity. We can go from different perspectives. We can go from different perspectives. Actually, this place right now looks better on this video than it does in real world because I'm containing it. Actually, this place right now looks better on this video than it does in real world because I'm containing it. I'm containing it within the realm of its own reference. It's a recursive deviation amplifying loop. And before you know it, what you get is a wonderful abstraction that is live. Is a wonderful abstraction. And fluid. That is live. And fluid. And whatnot. And fluid. And whatnot. I shot an arrow into the air. That's the first line of a poem I wrote, but I'm still writing it. That's the only line. And that is, this is not good for some people with certain neurological conditions, propensity for seizures. In any case, I don't like to do that too long. Seizures. In any case, I don't like to do that too long. That's a feedback of sound. Lord. That's a feedback of sound. That's a feedback of sound. Lord. I'm trying to get rid of it. Now, Kennedy is another story. By the way, folks, I'm in the process of developing Strat-O-Matic boxing. It's not easy. By the way, folks, I'm in the process of developing Strat-O-Matic boxing. Let me show you how it's played. First of all, and this is a prototypical stage. You follow what I'm saying? First of all, me show you how it's played. First of all,
You have
typical stage. You follow what I'm saying? First of all, you have a set of boxers. And they are sold in eras. Who knows what they'll do? Maybe it'll just be a full set, and it'll be early. There will be, they'll give the years that they were active, and it would be like a lifetime card. I think going by years would be too much. On the other hand, I have this outrageous idea of being able to go by decades. So you could, you'd have Ali in the 60s, you also have him in the 70s, and he'll have a good rope rating. But let's just take a case of, I think he did 74. Didn't he do a non-title bout? It was not an official bout, it was just for the money, I guess, with Quarry. But you would have, let's call it in the 70s set, you'd have, on this side, we'll just call this guy Muhammad Ali. And in this set, against Joe Frazier. So we start off with that concept. Now, there's a basic, advanced, and super advanced, but I'm gonna go right into advanced. Hey, you have a great day, Charles. You absolutely take care. Yeah, thanks, Charles. Glad you like that. Oh. Wow, quarters. Well, I have no quarters. I don't use cash anymore. Okay, I'm pretty much cashless, and not just cashless. I never carry cash. My father always said, so anyway, you do that. Now, introducing the dice, there are 5 dice. You're probably wondering what the other dice is. The other dice is a die that carries through the entire fight and sometimes comes up. It's the yellow die. Now, you don't have to use these colors, but you have to distinguish between the boxer's card for offense and defense and the yellow card. You can call it the yellow card. That adds a complexity to the game, allowing split decisions with just the denoting of a certain number in a certain location next to where it's listed on the card. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out a card and show you what a card is going to look like. I'm going to show you the super advanced card. First of all, this would be the size of a player's card, like the old football. Okay? This is just to give you an idea. This would be a different color, and this would be offense, and this would be defense. Now, there's such a complexity to this game because, and here's the basic side, by the way. You may want to play basic. There's the offense, different color, and the defense. Don't worry about the details of this and the ratings. Now, just to give you an idea of some of the ratings. Don't just ignore the names that are here. Stealing, running, hit and run, bunting, power. What you would have is a power rating, by the way. But it would be like 0 to, it's hypothetically 0 to, it could be 59. You'd have people with a 37. You'd have power. You'd have speed. You have endurance. Another word for it would be stamina. You have power, speed. I could go back to that. For here, you'd have, but you'd have different things here, like left hook. You could throw a left hook, okay? You know. Now, I haven't gotten far because it's very complex. I haven't gotten any further than this, but I think it would be absolutely cool, you know, and it would look better than this. It would look real good. And you'd have charts, you know, just hypothetically as a, sort of as a little prototype here. Okay. And another thing that you would have in this game, and it's something that would be actually done on a board. Would be, and I guess we could improve on this, but you'd have two boxers, okay? And they would be situated on a board, and I'm just showing you this hypothetically. This could be Ali, okay? And he could be on the ropes, you see, and then you have Frazier here. And you could have move, you know, you could do that. This game would probably take, one fight would probably take 6 hours. Okay? You know, they call it sweet science. And, you know, Ali could be doing the rope-a-dope. I don't think that's going to work very well with Joe Frazier, who is an incredible body puncher. There was, if it was Foreman, okay, and that was 74, wasn't it? Or was that 73? God, what year? I think it was 74. Whatever year it was, I'd love to do that year. Have Foreman, and they could have a 365 kind of thing. have Foreman and now it's very conducive to computerization, but they have to work this game out. And so you'd have these two guys, you could be in positions, okay? So you have to, you know, the way Hal Richmond started baseball was very slowly, and he built on it, but this is going to be an amazing role. And it's suggested that you roll all 5 dice simultaneously. Whoops, what did I just do? Okay, everybody. Folks, I'm going to take off. I'll let you know more about this replay as I progress. I might get something to eat. Okay. You all take care, okay? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, you all take care now. Have a great night, Rhodes Scholar. Absolutely. Absolutely, Rhodes Scholar, yeah. I'm wondering, you know, I'm kind of hungry, but I'm wondering, wouldn't it be a fun adventure to not get anything to eat? See what it feels like. You know, I know that's bizarre. I do need water. I will not deprive myself of water. But I have enough actually to maybe get by. Ah, I'll keep an eye on that. I have popcorn. I have garbanzo beans. That's high in protein, isn't it? Why the hell would I go out to get something? Let me see how new my mayonnaise is, how old it is, I should say. My mustard, I think, is pretty good. This mayo, oh, it's no good. God, this is old. Christ, I'll have to throw this out. I have mustard. Shit. Mustard and Bacos. Wonder how that would be. And I also have beans here. Now, this might be good. Just on some rice. Chili Magic. Just gonna take a look at some of the tweets that I have, and then I'll let you know. These are just some of my notifications. I get a notice about this guy's. These are just some of my notifications. This guy's tweets. I get a notice about this guy's. These are just some of my notifications. This guy's tweets. I get a notice about this guy's. These are just some of my. I used to care a lot about what people wrote, and I learned how not to. I'll tell you what I will do. I'll go out and get something, and I'll broadcast it on YouTube. First, I'll recharge my battery. Wait, I don't have too many right now. I get a lot though. See, that's TweetDeck. I like to give her funny faces. There's some that I like this one. It's my friend Deborah. TweetDeck makes it so easy, you know, to use this. I'm gonna go get, and I could do this right now. I want to switch it to. Here we go. Let's just make sure. I have to turn this around, by the way. This frickin' thing is not tight enough on this. Here we go. Make it good. Whoops. Shit. There we go. One more. There we go. There we go. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey folks, Jeffrey Guterman here. I'm ready to go out and get a bite to eat. Let me check to see how it is. Yeah, it looks like it's all up to snuff. See how it is. Hello, everybody. Ow! I'll need water and gotta think about what I want to eat here. See which album this was. Here it is. The Who Sell Out. Remember that cover? Anybody at all? God. I could get dogs. Enjoy some dogs. Gonna need a little more than that. Oh. This is my Twitter world live. It's tweets in a special list that's in the middle. The far left is my timeline. The third one is notifications. It does also have when I schedule posts and new followers. Just gonna let it go a little longer here. Let me see something. And then I'll venture out. I'm not big for going out. Ever. I'm not big for going out. Ever. 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 And ever. And ever. And ever. And ever and ever more. And ever and ever more. get here. I could get dogs. You know that? That's not a bad, because I have beans. Dogs and kraut. I mean, that's not a very healthy thing. I could just make those beans. I don't need to go out. Okay, that's the long and short of it. Have a good night.